safety concerns. Now, I used the name that she used on her YouTube profile, and that's the name that I used in the video because it's the one that she was using to message in, of course, the comment sections. So people can see her name anyway. But she prefers Pebbles, and I'm fine with that. So I don't mind calling her Pebbles. Now, there's a lot of stuff all throughout all of this. I always end up with people who are new to the situation, or they're chock full of assumptions because they watched some video that's chock full of bullshit. And next thing you know, they just want to text message me. Also, they want to give me fake names. They don't have addresses. There's always some reason why their contact information, which if they're going to be helping, their contact information is going to be required because, well, she's going to have to talk to these different agencies with me. They're going to have a way to get a hold of her. And also, there's going to have to be a way to send correspondence. Now, there's details about her that are important, like, her family. Well, that makes it tough, too. Can't use her real name. I don't have her real name. I don't have her address. I don't have her phone number. See, that's the thing about most of these folks going out of their way. Was pretending like they were going to help me. But then, of course, as time went along, and I'm wasting my time and wasting my resources, and they're telling me they're gonna, and they never get around to it. No, you help my predators to get away. You intentionally pretended like you were going to help somebody who is disabled. You wasted their time and their money with empty promises. You helped out the Bollingers, and you helped out the police in doing that. You helped out the police who threatened, harassed, and assaulted me. You helped out the Bollingers, who are a bunch of druggies and rapists, and then you pretend that I'm a druggie and a rapist to justify your wrongdoing? No, this ain't okay. Now, Pebbles, she's apparently somebody who, and when I told you guys that a lot of people contacted me, and instead of hearing what was going on and speaking out, they were busy telling me about their stories. Well, then I get people, and I've got hundreds and hundreds of people who have offered to help me, and then it just ends up being them talking about them. And then Pebbles has let me know that she's somebody that was, one of those people that was letting me know about that stuff. It's difficult for me to separate one story from another when there are so many. So when Pebbles was telling me about her situation to try to help remind me, some of them, yeah, I remember them, and some of them, it's just, there were so many. I can't take care of myself. And because of that, I am victimized. People know I can't take care of myself. How can I possibly defend myself if I can't even take care of myself? How am I supposed to have a steady address to have mail sent to when I'm repeatedly getting my stuff taken from me, or being forced to live with somebody who's an alcoholic or a meth addict? They're volatile situations, and I have to leave or I can't function. They may have had the best intentions in the world, but their alcoholism gets in the goddamn way, and it's hurtful. Shannon Alvarado damn near pushed me to suicide while I was there. That's the thing, is that I need help stopping abuse. I don't need your drama and your fucking trauma and your stupid fucking stuck up rich bitch bullshit. The cheapest house in Shannon Alvarado's neighborhood is $3.2 million. She was just too busy being an abusive alcoholic to keep her word. And sure, there were times when she was sure a nice fucking goddamn drunk. Absolutely. But she was still drunk. How much help is she gonna be getting all drunk like that? You see, I go around helping a lot of people. I need help too. I need help too. But that lady over there being as mean as she possibly could after everything I've done for her and for that gentleman over there. I like helping people. I don't like being abused for helping people. There's a lot of folks that offered to help. I was hoping they were going to help. It ended up being abuse. It ended up being bullshit and lies, and no, I don't fucking owe it to you to take that. I'm allowed to tell on you. You guys were gonna help me to turn these things in, or so you claimed. Now this Pebbles lady, her fears are the same as anyone else's. But also the situation is the same as everyone else's in the fact that she can't be reached. If there's an issue or a situation, she's got her own safety and issues that are going on in her life that have nothing to do with me. They're not my fault that they're going on, but they're preventing her from being able to do a lot of stuff. And you know what? A lot of people have situations like that. There's also a lot of people who pretend they have situations like that because they're just trying to play head games. There's people like Layla Johnson Miles. She wasn't a real fucking person trying to help me. She was a fucking web sleuth nut job with a fake fucking profile. And you know what? I was used to that well before that. Natalie's friends kept on making fake profiles to fucking harass me too. Over and over again. Oh yeah, and then after the situation with Jamie Curtis up there, after Natalie's death, the fucking head games that she was playing with me and James and that Harmon feller. Man, that's just some fucked up shit. After getting my vehicle running this month, that's the last of my disability money. I don't have any more checks coming in. That's because I don't have help with the simple shit that I needed help with at the beginning. I needed a steady fucking environment. Not a subservient environment where anybody who wants to abuse me in that situation can. When your family does something fucked up to a stranger, do you take that stranger's side or your family's side? Rick McCormick, he was made promises by Shannon Alvarado. He's basically the male version of a sugar, or she's the female version of a sugar daddy. You know, Rick McCormick, he was dating her and she was going to pay him. This is one of the big beefs that he had while he was staying there, is that he had come to help her with her dad and a bunch of stuff at her house, and I don't know what the fuck they did. It still looked like shit. But he'd come there to help her and help her with her daughter and help her with the household and help her with her dad. And she was going to pay his rent for his apartment. He got a son, you know, he kind of needs that apartment. But she didn't pay him. No, what she did is she got drunk and kicked him out and did her own thing, and then let him back and got drunk and kicked him out and let him back and over again. Well, Rick lost his apartment because he didn't pay the rent because all the work that he was doing for Shannon Alvarado, she apparently wasn't paying him for. So then he moves in with Shannon Alvarado, and this is while I'm there. And then, of course, she's getting drunk every night and yelling at him. Holy fuck, that's gotta suck. This is how disabled homeless males are treated. We all must be those predators, huh? Because we're homeless. No, most of us were victimized to this point, and we're stuck out here with the predators you guys hate so much. Well, guess what? We don't fucking like them either. But I'm not pretending that every fucking homeless person out here is one of those people. Most of the homeless who are not those people are either at work right now. They're called working homeless. Some of them have more than one job. It's still not enough to get a roof over their head, let alone keep one. But they're still working. I was one of those people. I was homeless, but I went to work. I made sure I had a job. If I didn't have a job, I was working at a labor ready. When I injured my back, it got different. Also, how much people cared about me was a lot different after I hurt my back. I couldn't jump through their hoops no more, so I became a punching bag or a pincushion. They didn't give a shit what happened to me. Let me find my tobacco pipe. This one's a menthol. They're gross. But it's what I'm down to. I got no money. I got no income. I can't work. I can't take care of myself. I can't feed myself. I have food now because people were kind enough to drop it off on me, and I am grateful for it. I keep eating the bread here. Yeah, I'm about sick of bread, but it's food. It's sustenance. Yeah, I'd like to eat something different, but I'm glad to have the bread. There's a lot of people who pretended that I was ungrateful for the things that they did for me. No, I was grateful. What I was pissed off about is that they didn't keep their word. The help that I needed to stop this abuse, to prevent me from being forced into this situation to begin with. Holy hell. If someone actually cared, instead of giving me lip service, they would have done things to help stop it. I tried to explain it to people what was going on and the abuse that I was going through, but you never get that far when people are too busy interrupting you to tell you ignorant fucking stupid shit like you just gotta love yourself. I do love myself. I'm a good person. There's a reason that so many people, even ones that I wasn't friends with anymore, spoke up when Natalie was killed to explain that I didn't do it. Of course, those all them folks who had a history of taking advantage of me. They knew that if nobody else would help, Sean would. Also, I was better than a free babysitter. See, most of y'all got to pay a babysitter. Nope, I'm the guy who's going to believe your stupid sob story. A lot of the situations where people needed their kids to be babysat, I understood why them kids needed to be babysat. Like Donnie Sparks, he was going to go bash a kid's brains out at the pool in Chapel, Nebraska with a shovel. Someone like me should go talk to him. I said, you don't want me to do that. I'd tell him exactly what that shovel's for. It's for after you're done. If it ain't severe enough that you're going to need a shovel when you're done, you should probably rethink the violence thing. If it's severe enough that somebody needs to be put in the ground, then yeah, put them in the ground. But when people want to put someone in the ground for being disabled or for being different, see, here's the thing. My disability is not autism. My disability is post-traumatic stress disorder from abuse. Because you guys assume that autistic people are all fucking are all retarded, first of all. And you pretend we're schizophrenic, second of all. When you want to win a fight or win an argument, you just tell us we're mentally ill, so we don't know what we're talking about. Or you tell us our wires are crossed. A good one. When we listen to you for hours or days or even weeks on end, bitching about shit that is so fucking trivial, and it's all connected to your penis or your vagina. Or money. Oh. You're either lonely or you're broke and you want to complain about it. And people say, hey, I'll work together with you. You go, no. Too much pride. That's why we got Hispanic people who get off the streets here. We got Hispanic folks who come out here to the United States, live on the streets, and work together as a family. And they get off the streets. And then we get to hear people complaining, well, there's 30 Mexicans in one room in an apartment. Yeah. And that's what they can afford. That way, living in that shithole, they can save money to get into a better place. See, them Mexicans you guys want to complain about so much, they're getting to live the American dream after a few years of living up here, if their family works together like that. Within just a few years of moving here, within just a few years of hitting the streets, but they hit the streets as a family. They work together as a family. One guy who was telling me that him and his family all hopped the border illegally when he was a baby. And his grandpa made an ice cream cart. And they were able to make enough money to get just a little bit of ice cream. Didn't even have a business license. They eventually were able to get one. But to begin with, it was a matter of feeding their family here in the United States. So his grandpa, he was able to take some bikes that were left. I mean, it's Southern California. You got a whole bunch of people's bikes all over the place that were scavenged for parts by one thief or another. And he took one of these bikes, and he took some metal ducting that he'd found, and he made a little makeshift ice cooler for it. and painted it up and put some stickers on it. Painted a little ice cream cone on the side. It's a good start. That's ingenuity. Now we want Girl Scouts to have business licenses. We want your 5-year-old to have to be regulated to have a lemonade stand. We expect too much. For a person who doesn't have enough for a sandwich, expecting them to spend thousands of dollars all at once to rent a space on the Pearl Street Mall. Yeah, there's lots of people that are vendors on the Pearl Street Mall, and I talked to them, and they told me it was inexpensive. It was cheap. They told me how much they were spending a month to have a space on the mall, and told me where to go and who to talk to, and I went to who they told me to talk to, and those people told me, nope, you don't do it a month at a time like the vendors were telling you. No, the vendors actually are all lying to you. The vendors are actually all having to pay thousands of dollars up front all at once in order to use that space. Of course, those people knew I was homeless because that's the information kiosk on the Pearl Street Mall. And there's a place they tell you to go to. Of course, there's also the thing with a storage unit. There's a lot of people who say, hey man, they got that bike storage at the bus station. Well, you're not allowed to use it for anything other than bikes, by the way. Also, if you're homeless, they'll give you some excuse not to rent it to you. You're blackballed for being blackballed. You're victimized for being victimized. You're broke because you're broke. And they take advantage of you being broke and then charge you a whole shit ton of money. This is cruel and unusual punishment, no matter how you look at it. Everywhere I go, there's people like Tom who are trying to do the right thing. And there's people like Molly who are nuttier than fucking squirrel turds and expecting, give me this and give me that. Oh, I'm not even close to any woman you ever met. I'm this and I'm that. I'm so manly. And then it's, oh well, I'm a woman. You shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that because I'm a woman. Well, now you're accusing people of doing things they didn't do, and that whole "I'm a man" thing. I'm a manly man. I'm not a woman at all. It went right out the window, didn't it? It only fits when it suits you, right? You got 2 pairs of shoes in your closet. They're both just your size. What, you gonna tell people, oh, well, you got the red shoes and the black shoes. Tell people, oh, well, I don't want to wear the red shoes because they don't fit me. I'm gonna wear the black shoes. Or they ask, hey, which pair do you like better? Oh, well, I like the black pair better. Oh, well, I can't wear the black shoes because they're not my size. So I'm gonna wear the red shoes. Okay, wear the red shoes. In reality, both of them shoes do fit. Anyway, Tom has been over there talking to her for a few hours. I got shit I gotta do too. I can't do the hurry up and wait thing. But I do believe that for his safety, I probably should. I let him know because he was over here, so I figured it was safe to walk away from my vehicle for a minute. But on the way back, I saw Tom, and he told me what he was planning, and he's going to help her get out of here and get to Portland and all that. Move his camp to another place, and that way we can avoid her screaming and being mean to people the way she is. I mean, she's nice while being verbally abusive. Kind of like earlier when she came over and dropped off that food and accused me of stealing from her. Stupid. But they're allowed to do it because I'm disabled. They're allowed to do these things because I have post-traumatic stress disorder from abuse. The signs that I exhibit aren't signs of autism. The stuff that you hate about me isn't autistic, it's PTSD. These are all victim reactions, but you don't care. I have a penis, I must be a predator. Me too, me too, me too, right? A lot of people, their issue is that you're not supposed to speak ill of the dead. The truth is the truth, whether the person is dead or not. I'm still alive being victimized over it. It ain't speaking ill of the dead. It is telling the truth. Look at history. How many of the people that you learned about from history are dead? Most of them. How many of them did horrible shit? Nearly all of them. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., his life was a cakewalk compared to mine. He had it easy. People cared. People actually cared about Dr. King. If Dr. King had had to grow up in institutions and lock-up facilities because his parents were druggies, man, I tell you what, he may have grown up getting beaten for the color of his skin, but not like that. There's people who want to pretend that I'm a horrible person for saying that I should have the right to shoot back at people who are shooting at me. Not saying that I was going to, saying that I should have the right. Then again, I don't own a gun, do I? Dr. King did. Not only did he, well, you guys want to pretend that I'm going to be the next Unabomber or the next serial killer or serial rapist or some creeper shit like that because of the way that I fucking look. Dr. King, not only did he have a gun, he used it. He used his gun by his own admission. That's right, Dr. King himself employed exactly the tactics that Malcolm X said that they needed to. You know what affected change? You know what affected change the most? For Dr. King and all his people, that would be the actions and teachings of a man from Nebraska. A man born in Omaha, Nebraska. Malcolm X. Malcolm X said it was time to fire back. Dr. King advocated for peace. but he damn sure fired back. I'm nicer than Dr. King. Because I'm not firing back. I'm nicer than Malcolm X because I'm not firing back. I've been showing you for the last 6 years what being kind does. How not being violent and not firing back just results in repeated victimization. It's pathetic. There's these organizations that are supposed to help with shit like this, but you know what? The organizations here in Oregon are the same as anywhere else. Those people aren't going to bother with doing their fucking jobs until someone goes in there with them. When you go in to try to turn in abuse, you are not going to be taken seriously unless someone cares enough to go in with you. And do they? There's a lot of situations that people were involved in. Things that they actually did to try to help. But they needed to admit to those things in court. Later on, a lot of these people, they want to throw shit in my face and say, hey, I did this and I did that. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Not only did I admit that you did those things, I said thank you loud and proud, loud and clear, and very publicly. A lot of folks want to treat me like I'm ungrateful. You know what? There is stuff that I'm not fucking grateful for. I'm not grateful for Shannon Alvarado's abuse, no matter who it was directed at. Yes, I'm grateful for a fucking sandwich if I'm hungry. But when you promise me actual help, and then you give me a sandwich and throw that back in my face, well, I gave you a sandwich. Fuck off. Kara Johnson Miles was allowed to continue her bullshit and her slander after all the things that she did. Shannon Alvarado exposed her. To me, she didn't expose it on the internet. She didn't expose it in those groups. She didn't speak up in court. She didn't even try to make a police report. And as a result, well, Kara Johnson Miles not only got away with her crime, she got to commit more crimes and lie to the courts and have me, of course, harmed. And Shannon Alvarado is very well aware of this. That's the thing about actual witnesses. Yeah, that makes Shannon Alvarado an actual witness. She's the one who brought it to my fucking attention. No, Sean, you need to turn it in. I know, I've fucking tried. You need to turn it in with me, lady. Oh, I can't. I'm in the wrong state. Jesus fucking Christ. And that's the problem with alcoholics and druggies. There's always going to be some fucking excuse why they can't keep their word. There's a lot of my predators who wanted to get on here and be dicks. Well, I paid attention. I took screenshots. And then I blocked them. As is my right. That is nobody's right to do that to another human being in court. See, there's a lot of people who weren't involved, except that they were harassing and threatening me. They got expectations and want to say, "Oh, well, you're a horrible person for blocking my other account." No, I'm not. I don't know you jack shit. Now with this Pebbles lady and her not being able to do anything, you know what? I've got quite a few people that, their situation is a situation where it makes it where you can't hide who you are if you're going to speak up for me and speak out for me. See, that's the thing about the whole Spider-Man thing. Mr. Jameson. That's one of the characters from Spider-Man. If you read the comic books or, I guess, watched the movies, you know who Mr. Jameson is. Mr. Jameson's family was killed by somebody wearing a mask. And Mr. Jameson says, real heroes don't wear masks. He's absolutely right. Mr. Jameson is more of a hero in that than Spider-Man is. Mr. Jameson, well, he's a dick, and he doesn't like Spider-Man, and that's obvious. And that kind of sets him up as a villain of the story. But he's not. Mr. Jameson is always trying to do the right thing according to his understanding. And according to his understanding, Spider-Man is a coward. So all these people wanting to hide their names, I understand what they're afraid of. I understand all these people who are telling me that they have to be afraid for their kids. And you're right. You do have to be afraid for your kids. All these people who are getting a hold of me and saying that they already have safety issues where they have predators and they have to be in hiding, and they're telling me that they're going to try to help me. That's going to make it real tough. If you can't even use your real name and can't speak out publicly, it's going to make it real tough. Now, I'm not blaming Pebbles for the actions of others. What I'm saying is that this is an awful lot just like these others folks. And I hope Pebbles read it, and I hope she's not somebody pretending to be someone else. She sent me something on my phone when she sent me a message yesterday, and I don't know if it's like an image or a sound file or what, but my phone's pretty full, so what do I do, A lot of my evidence, the only place it exists anymore is on YouTube, and that's because of my sister's friend Ed. God damn, he fucked up big. Now there's two of these on my keychain. One of them's missing. I gotta go through my whole car to find it, and I've been at it for a few days because it's full of important evidence. I've been looking for it since I was up in Hood River. Well, actually in the Dalles, but I had it when I was in the Dalles, and then I went to Hood River. And from Hood River I came here. I'm hoping it didn't fall out on the ground somewhere because it's got a lot of important evidence. I had two of them. One of them was for transferring files, and one of them was for holding them, and I don't know which one is which because the tags fell off. A lot of this stuff is complicated because I don't have a mailbox. Instead of people telling me I need to go down and get a mailbox, they need to help me to get that mailbox. When I went and talked to Jenny Richmond, the things that she had to say about me getting a P.O. box there were completely different from what other folks keep wanting to tell me. They keep telling me, oh, no, Sean, you just need to go down and you pay them a $16 fee or an $11 fee, and it's different all over the place. I don't know why. But if you pay that fee, then lo and behold, you can have yourself a P.O. box. You don't need to provide an address and blah, blah, blah. You do need an ID, though. I'm like, that's because the ID has your fucking address on it. But they're insistent that that's not it, that you don't need that address, and so on and so forth. And you know, there's all this shit that you guys want to tell us out here who are homeless, who are actually experiencing it. You want to tell us how it is. Like those of you who want to tell us about all these poor homeless women out here who have been victimized into it. And really, a lot of them are victimizing the men in this particular situation, like the one today, and yesterday, and the day before. None of us like being abused. But then you pretend that men should have to take the abuse and just take it and take it and take it and take it because men are stronger than women. You know, there are so many women who tell me, you know what, women can do anything a man can do. Rhonda Rousey is proof of this, and Jesse Liebman's proof of this, and Susan B. Anthony is proof of this, and all this different stuff. And, you know, this female bodybuilder and this female sumo wrestler, and like, all right, so there's females who do those things. What's the point? Basically, what you're telling me is that, yes, there are women that I should be allowed to defend myself against. If Ronda Rousey was beating on me, well, she could kill me on accident. Yeah, it's probably a good idea to swing back or play dead. Now, if playing dead doesn't work, then you should probably start swinging back. Those of you who want to say it's never okay to hit a woman, well, if Desiree starts pounding on you, we'll see if you really stick with that. This ain't like getting hit by Tammy Mencher. Tammy Mencher is fucking tiny. Desiree will fuck a motherfucker up. She prides herself on being able to beat up men. That's why I was surprised to find out she was in a trap house in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Christine Buheat's the one to let me know about that situation. Christine's dead. There's all these folks who say that I shouldn't help others, that I should just help myself. Well, helping myself doesn't get me anywhere. Like I said from the start, everybody needs somebody. Otherwise, you're easy to victimize. You're alone. When you got a camp that's run by 6 tweakers, and you're not a tweaker, and this is supposed to be a place where homeless people can come and gather and congregate and be safe, and it's run by 6 fucking tweakers, and then they went around and around, oh, we're family. No, you're not. You're 6 fucking tweakers who are running a fucking homeless place like a prison yard and fucking with people's lives. That sounds like a homing engine. We'll see. Looks like a dual-engine military plane from the 1930s. I'm not so sure that would be a Lycoming engine. I believe that the Bell 47 had a Lycoming in them to begin with. I've seen a couple of Bell 47s with Continental engines, and I've even seen one with a Centennial engine, which is a very, very nice engine. Runs very smooth. Slightly higher RPMs. I like homing, it runs a bit slower, and it's more like a burp. I mean, it's a pretty loud thing. Well, obviously faster than that, whereas like a Centennial engine sounds like a really smooth sewing machine. Zzz, or a pair of hair clippers. And it's not electric, it's a gasoline engine. Just one of them's meant for running at higher RPMs. I've been told the Lycomings run almost as well as the Continentals, and the Centennials work better than both. But there's not that much of a difference in them as far as the performance in the air, because it's just a Bell 47. I mean, this thing, they were lucky they could knock this thing well enough together to get it off the ground. And when in Korea for the mobile ambulance, the one from MASH, that's a Bell 47. They used it as an ambulance. And then later, the UH-1 Huey, it wasn't designed as a gunship, it was designed as an ambulance. It was designed so it could carry 6 litters behind the pilot and the co-pilot and still have room for an EMT. Well, a combat medic, actually, but basically they're an EMT who's trained specifically in the horrors of combat and how to deal with them. I'm not talking about the psychological part, I'm talking about the physical part. Seeing brains and mangled bodies, and you gotta try to hold those things together well enough that all those brains and parts of the body don't fall off or out before you're able to get them to a hospital where a doctor will hopefully be able to prevent them from dying. If they die en route, hopefully a doctor can help bring them back to life. I like technology. I like military technology, and I especially like military technology that was designed for saving lives rather than taking it. That's why I like the UH-1 Huey. I think the AH-1 Cobra helicopter would be much better for going out on the ocean, though. So you can take plastic and you can mold something that's plastic into a shape. Let's say, let me find a plastic bottle to squeeze for you. Screw it, I don't have, here's one. You take the plastic bottle and you squeeze it. See the form that it takes and wants to bounce back. That's because it's got pressure in it. But it's still going to want to do that, at least to some degree. If you push it all the way together and you let it go, it's going to stick together a little bit, ain't it? Because it's got crease there. But if you get inside and you push on it a little bit, that'll pop right out. And if you shape it with a double curve on it, it'll pop right out as well. And that all comes down to understanding, well, corrugation and gussets and all sorts of different shapes that are supposed to do really cool things and actually do. Now, if you were to take a whole bunch of number 1 plastic bottles, basically, you form yourself a 20-foot long plastic bottle, and then you flatten it. You put a door in it so that people can get in or out, but you just flatten it by putting 20 or 30 more on top of it and flattening them as well. Now you get out there where one of these cruise ships, which there aren't very many left in the world, they keep capsizing because they're top heavy. They figure out the top and the bottom weights based on, they do sort of figure in the passengers, but not really because of the nature of the structure. But then when they don't factor in the passenger or the passenger's luggage, and it's not like on a military vehicle where most people are living below the waterline and all their stuff is stowed below the waterline. No, this is a civilian craft where everybody wants to see out their windows, and they want to see Bermuda, and they want to see the Bahamas, and they want to see Fiji. So the thing gets top heavy, a lot more top heavy than they might expect. And they make them top heavy to begin with. And then, of course, not just being top heavy, but it's not a tumble home system. So a lot of that top heaviness is near one edge or the other. So if you start going over, it's a lot easier to push you all the way over. So if you got some folks out there that